I just made a clip for Facebook. I was talking about okay, first of all, I hope everyone's having a good day. Um I hope everybody's waking up feeling refreshed, happy, protected, and healed, or every day we heal, right? So I've been trying to learn about healing with the hands, and I'm going to try to do something new today. I know I talk a lot about what's going on. I'm spiritual. We all know who I am. You all know who I am. I tell you all about the stuff that's going on spiritually, right? With the spiritual battles that we're having. That a lot of the 144 have awakened. We're all fighting our own battles, right? In our homes as well as internally and as well as outside in the physical, as well as spiritually. So we all just got to stay strong, right? I was just saying, I was just trying to tell people on Facebook about like how a lot of the jealousy and the envy, how people are choosing to do like spell work or whatever they do to the people who are chosen or the remnant, right? Um, how they hate on us because we're different, because we're unique, um, and because we are God's, God has favor over our lives, right? But a lot of people don't understand the things that we've gone through. Um, we've endured and we persevered through a lot of things, and then we have to deal with people in this world. Now, this is a testing realm. I feel really, truly. And I just want everybody to know that if you are a chosen of the remnant or you are one of the 144, and if you know, um, y'all agree with me that our lives have not been easy. We have been born into a family of suffering and relationships that were of lack, emotionally, financially, physically, abuse. I personally was molested when I was younger, and I was abused, growing up. In my relationships, I was, not treated well. I'm sorry, TikTok. I didn't mean to say, I don't know. I'm not sure if I was okay to say that or not. Um, so there's certain things that, when I was younger, I did get, you know, sexually mishandled. I don't know what I mean. MOLEST. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? By when I was younger, um, as well as I was physically abused. When I was, also in relationships, not sexually abused, but in adult relationships, I was abused, thinking that it was okay because I saw it in my family. Right, my father was abusive, and you know, a lot of my family members, there was always fights in my family. It was really crazy. So me growing up, I thought that was acceptable, right? Because that's what I saw in my family. Um, so things like that, the decisions I made were based on how I was raised and what I saw. My coping mechanisms, my vices, all that was based on how I was raised, and how I chose to deal with it. Right. Um, I always thought that I needed to have a man to take care of me and support me in order for me to have a home, and in order for me to have stability. That was one of the biggest things for me was, if I would get with a guy, he'll take care of me and support me. And the men that I was with, they didn't mind taking care of me and supporting me. They didn't want me to work, and I never knew why. They didn't want me to do anything. They didn't want me to go anywhere, just be at home and, do the whole stay home, cook, and clean situation, right? Which was beyond me why. But whatever, now I know why. I didn't know before, but I know now, right? And so I just want everybody to know that, being like a chosen, a remnant, the elect, it's not easy. Like, we have God's favor and stuff, but God, he forges us through the fire for a reason. We need to endure. We need, our lives have not been easy. I know that my life hasn't been easy, and I'm sure there's a lot of other of us that our lives have not been easy. And I just want everybody to know that nothing is easy in this world, And at the end of everything that you've gone through, you got to understand that everything was for a reason. No matter what it is, it was for a reason, because everybody has free will at the end of the day. And depending on how you choose to deal with what's happened is going to be what your outcome is going to be, right? Are you going to choose to live in that cycle of abuse and be that victim and have that victim mentality? Or are you going to sit there and say, well, you know what, that happened to me, but that doesn't mean that I have to be like that? Can y'all share my life, please, if y'all are here? I know there's somebody here because I know there's somebody here. The victim mentality of, I was abused, I was this, I was that, and I'm going to just be a miserable person because I was treated like that. I was dealt that hand, which is not the case. It depends on, like, as we're like, at some point when we're adults, we have to realize that that's not our life. It's really what we make it, right? So me being abused and treated badly in every sense of the way growing up, I could have chose to either be a good person or I could have chose to be a shitty person because of what I was dealt, right? I could have chose to be, oh, you know what, I was treated like that, so I'm just not going to give a shit and I'm going to treat everybody else like that. But I chose love because at the end of the day, it's harder to hate than it is to love. To love is, it gives you more fulfillment, put it that way. And it's what God wants, right? We're supposed to love each other. Of course, people are going to hate and they're going to be jealous and they're going to sit there and say things and do witchcraft or whatever, steal from you, lie about you, discredit you, fraud you, steal from you, abuse you in every way. They don't got to touch you to abuse you. It could be physical, emotional, verbal, psychological. Abuse comes in all forms, okay? So just so y'all know that abuse comes in all forms. But just know that only you can overcome that. I was a victim of physical abuse from a lot of my exes, and I thought that that was okay because I would fight back. But there was no peace in my relationship. There was no peace in the relationships that I had, no peace. And then the ones that weren't abusive physically, they were abusive psychologically and emotionally. And I wasn't really aware of the emotional or psychological abuse as much as I was with the physical abuse because it was right there in my face, right? Psychologically and emotionally, I dismissed it because I was so worried about the physical. I was so worried about being hit or being careful about, just stupid things, about physical stuff. And I never really realized or thought about the emotional abuse till later on when I started fighting back. And then they knew not to put their hands on me anymore because I'd fight back. So, so then the emotional abuse came, right? Like it'd be like gaslighting, like it'd be like sitting there and saying they love me, and then later on they'd be missing or they'd be gone for days at a time. Want to come back on me and tell me they're sorry and stuff, and I'd forgive them. Sorry, guys. And what they do, they would sit there and everything would be okay for a little while. And then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'll take and they'll be gone. And I'll be like, where were you? Oh, I went to go think, or, and some stupid stuff like that. And I would sit there and I would accept it because I'd be like, okay, whatever. I guess, and I didn't realize the whole time these people were having affairs behind my back, seeing other women, going and doing stuff, never wanted to go anywhere with me, but was constantly going out with other people, right? Doing whatever they were doing. And for a long time, I accepted it because I was so worried. I was always worried, like, oh, well, at least they're not hitting me. That was my resolve for what these people were doing. Well, at least they're not hitting me. You know what I mean? And to me, that was okay because they weren't hitting me. And that wasn't the case. Abuse is abuse is abuse, right? And then a lot of the negligent emotions that were not in the relationship were another thing that I didn't think about. Like when I never got someone to be really like loving, like in the sense where they would show emotion or they were very caring or see me. I love love. Like I like hugging. I like holding. Not like ridiculous amounts where you're just on each other, hanging on each other all day. No, not like that. But I like to cuddle. I like to hold. I like to see the relationships I was in. They were not like that. There was a couple of them that were like that, but not. I'm not saying that I want someone to be on me all the time, but it wasn't very emotional, very loving. It was more of a a distance kind of love. Like it was okay. We're having sex, and that's it. And there's a distant love. There's a distance, and it wasn't really like emotional. Like you wouldn't in the morning, good morning, give me a kiss, or you know what I mean, give me a hug. And it wasn't like that in my relationships. It was, and I know not everybody's like that, and everybody's touchy feely. But I was the kind of person that I liked not all the time. Like I said, I don't want people being constantly all over me, but a hug and a kiss here and there just to show their affection is something that I would like, you know what I mean? But then I realized that these people, these guys that I was with were like that because they just weren't, they lacked that emotion. And I don't know if it was because of their relationships, but then there were some that they really didn't. It was more of a, I just didn't get the love that, put it this way, I just didn't get the love that I desired from these men. And I wasn't, and at the end of the day, I wasn't fulfilled emotionally, um, or financially for that matter. But really, emotion to me and connection comes before any financial thing, right? But of course, we should all be stable before we get into a relationship. If we can't, if we can't, take care of, if you can't take care of yourself financially, don't expect to go out there and find someone to take care of you financially. Because I feel like that's the whole thing with me. I used to be the type that I wasn't financially ready, but I would be with somebody because they were financially ready, and they would take from me emotions and sex and all that, and I'd take the money, but they would support me financially. And now I'm at the stage where I don't want to be with anybody because they're financially set. I want to be with somebody, but I also want to have my own financial, means. Like right now, I'm in the middle looking for a job. I just finished school. I got two certificates. But I'm still in the process of looking for a job, right? I have my entrepreneurship, I have my business communications, and you know, I'm pretty smart. This is the thing, though. It's really hard finding a job, especially with the certificates that I have. Like, I have my own. I opened up my own LLC. Yet, it takes time to get money together to start getting your merchandise. It's just a lot of things that I have to do still. There's steps, right? So anyway, back to the relationship thing. So, my whole life, it's just the relationships that I have been in have been very trying for me. And like I said, I always expected what I saw in my family. Like, in my family, my parents, it was a very emotionless relationship. There was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of toxicity. Okay, I'm just gonna say there's a lot of toxicity in every form of the way. There was cheating. There was narcissism. There was backstabbing, and it was just in my family, my brothers. Every day there was a fist fight. I live with four older brothers. I know every day somebody was beating the hell out of somebody. It was just a very toxic, abusive relationship all around in that family. Growing up, it was nothing but fights and fights and fights, and somebody was always busting somebody's nose, and somebody was always beating somebody up. And we were family, And I would always tell like my friends and stuff when there'd be around their fights, I'd be like, y'all need to go home because they're fighting. I could never have like a friend over or anything because there was always fights, going fist fights, and my brothers would be fist fighting, and it'd just be really bad. And I would tell my mom, why do they fight with each other like they're strangers? Like they would fight with each other like to hurt each other, like to break something, or you know what I mean. And I would sit there crying. I hated it. Sorry. But you learn over time what you're not going to deal with anymore. You learn what you don't want in your family. You learn what you don't want your kids to be like or grow up like. And my family can sit there and act like everything is okay and like they're more holier than thou, but they're not. Everybody in my family has skeletons in their closet. And every time I spoke up or I said something, it was like, be quiet and don't say this and don't say that. I was always being told to be quiet. I was always told to be quiet. I'm not going to be quiet anymore. My life has been really hard. And I'm an adult now. And I refuse to give into that cycle of abuse and blindness and and oppression that my family was in. I will not live like that anymore. I'd rather be alone and give myself love than go through that cycle with somebody else and put my family through that. I will not do it. I'm stronger for it. God's made me a strong person. But it was hell. I'm sorry I'm crying, guys, but I just want you to know that, like back to what I was saying, being a chosen or being one of the elected or the remnant, people think that you have an easy life, and God puts you through the fire before He gives you we've always had our wings, right? But we're here, and we've always had enlightenment. We've always had it. The thing is, they blinded us. They've taken our memory away when we're here. They put us back to sleep. We've always been enlightened. We've always been wholeness. We've always been one in ourselves. But in this realm, we're blinded. We're put to sleep. Our 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 intuition, our discernment is shut down. Our awakeness is we're put back to sleep. We've always had it. We've always been intuitive. We've always had our gifts. We always have been one. We've always had it. We always did. They just were here and they put us back to sleep. And then we go through the fire and it's like, damn, my childhood has been very hard. Poverty, abuse, you name it, I've been through it. Abuse in every form. And if you're a chosen or a remnant, you're a child of God, you've been through it in some way, shape, or form. You really have. No matter what anybody says, they want to sit there and they're jealous of you and they're envious. And of what? What are y'all jealous of? What are y'all envious of? If you're awakened, you're awakened. If you're enlightened, you're enlightened. We've always been enlightened. We've always been one with the Creator, with the Most High, with infinite light. We always have. We were just put to sleep. And when we were put to sleep, we were put through so many trials and tribulations. And then let's see if you're still going to find your light at the end of this. I found my light at the end of it. I still found my light at the end of it. I still found the Most High God's light at the end of it. But people want to sit there and they're jealous and they're envious and they want to do, hexes and all that stuff when we've already had a hard life as it is. And most of the time, we have a hard life because of a lot of the things that they're doing to us, right? This is the thing. Are you going to find your light or are you going to stay stuck and go into the cycles that your family, that your friends, that your exes put you through? Laura, I refuse to be a statistic of bullshit. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm looking to positive things. I'm looking for positive things. Me growing up, I could sing, I can paint, I can cook very well. You know, um, I have so many talents, right? And growing up, my family always oppressed my talents, told me I couldn't sing, told me I couldn't paint or draw. And now that I'm awakened to who I really am in the Most High, I have so many gifts. I have so many gifts. Like, and it's crazy because I never thought I had all these gifts. Like, I have a green thumb. I can grow anything. I can grow anything. I mean, it just, you know what I mean. I'm very loving. I'm very giving. I was always in that fight or flight mode, right? So I never was able to sit down, be at peace, and see who I really was in the Most High. See who I was, right? Because God is in us, right? I never activated Him inside me because I was so worried about pleasing. I used to be a people pleaser, like no, nothing, man, and I'm not anymore. I'm not, because the only thing I'm going to please right now is myself and God within me. And that's who I'm going to please right now. And I don't care what anybody says. You can call me selfish. You can call me, a bitch. You can call me, conceited or whatever. No, we're not. We're just realizing who we really are. And outside of ourselves, we don't need anybody. When we awaken, yes, okay, if y'all going to come into union with your divine masculine or whatever is one thing, but you can't come into union with your divine masculine until you come into communion, into union with yourself first. And that's the truth. You know, you have to come in union with yourself first before you could be with anybody that you want, that is not going to hurt you or abuse you in any way, shape, or form. Someone who you can trust. Loyalty. I never had loyalty in any of my relationships. Never had trust in any of my relationships. I'm not saying I was perfect, because I was also in the dark too. You know what I'm saying? But I chose to break those cycles. I chose to break those cycles. I chose not to be with anybody until I value myself to the highest, most possible, to the my highest, most possible being of who I can be, is how I value myself. And in turn, the person that I'm going to be with outside of myself has to value me at that same level. Because if not, I will not be with them. That's why I'm very, very meticulous about who I talk to and who I'm with, because I'm not going to let anybody waste my energy or my time or my love anymore. I mean, I'm 49 years old, and I'm not sitting here going to wait around for a man to treat me like shit just because I want to be with somebody or because I'm lonely. I'm not doing that. I'd rather stay by myself and just be me and the Most High. And that's just what it is. And back to what I was saying about the remnant, we've gone through a lot of stuff, right? And if you're having a hard time, like physically on the outside, I'm not lying. Like, I don't have everything. I mean, I have everything that I need. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have somewhere to sleep at night. I don't have my own place, but I have somewhere to sleep at night. You know, I don't have a car. I don't have a job, right? Those are physical things, right? But I'm alive. I'm healthy. You know, I have food, I have shelter, I have I have the things that I need right now, and I'm grateful for that. Sometimes it gets hard because I do miss having my privacy. I don't have my own room, and a lot of times it does frustrate me, but I can't help that. I made my own space. I've made my own private space to where I can be by myself, right? God finds a way. If you really need to be alone, God will find a space for you to be alone. And I know it gets frustrating, but I don't lack anything that I need. you know of course I want more things, but I mean, I don't need more things. Of course I do need my own space. Okay, I do need my own place, right? Yes, we all need our own place. I do need to get a job. Of course, something that is not going to take away from my walk with the Most High God, but at the same time, it's something that's going to help me pay my bills, right? Because I'm still in this realm where everything is about money, you know. But it is what it is, right? So I'm not even whatever. That's like, so anyway, back to what I was saying. Like, these people around us that are jealous and envious, like, y'all don't understand what we've been through. We have been forced through the fire. We have gone through so much, and people want to sit there and then they hate and they're jealous and they're envious of people that have absolutely less than them. They'll physically have a car, house, a business, and then they'll go and they're jealous and they hate on people who are practically homeless and struggling to pay their bills, and they do whatever they can to keep them oppressed. And that's the crap that pisses me off. Like, you see them struggling, but you see the light in their heart and in their eyes. So you want to oppress them even more, and you want to belittle them and discredit them and fraud them and steal from them, and just do all kinds of messed up stuff to them. And it's not just strangers, it's not just celebrities, government officials, occults. It's not just them. I mean, it's also as well as your family, your exes. Like, I've had ex-boyfriends that were jealous of me. And these were my, I've never understood that because look at, I've been with a couple of guys, like my last two boyfriends or whatever you want to, the last two guys I was involved with, and they were freaking jealous. And I was like, y'all are supposed to, it's not supposed to be like that. Like, y'all are supposed to be, we're supposed to be like together and on whatever we're doing, we're supposed to be, helping each other out. But you're sitting there behind my back trying to plot on me, trying to do all this stuff. We're supposed to be one. We're supposed to work together. And I've never understood the whole, look at my cat. Look at the cat. Her name is, her name is, okay, her name is Nugget. She's cute, right? Okay, anyway. So I've never understood that. I never understood why that was. And it just was, it tripped me out that people would actually sit there, and these were guys that they were, another thing, I don't understand why a man would be jealous of a woman. Like, that is another that's a whole nother topic for another day. And a lot of them, oh, they're jealous because you have gifts, and they're jealous because you have, you're favored by God. Well, why don't you go take that up with God and leave me alone? You know what I mean? Instead, you want to sit there and do all this crazy crap. You know what I mean? Which is me why people do shit like that. I'm sorry. I know I'm cussing. I just needed to come out here and tell people this, because if this can help somebody in any way, if you're going through things and you still have that trust in your higher power, the creator of all, whoever, whatever you believe in, that is a good report, that is righteous, that is, and you're doing what you have to do and you're walking your temple path with God, then know that you're not alone. I'm here too. I'm going through the same thing. Justice is being served for us. Everything is slow, I know, but it's coming and it's here already. It's just, we have to understand that it is, and I struggle with this. I'm not even lying, because I ask him every day. It is divine timing. It is the timing of the Most High God, not ours. And we know I have to be strong. And I got to tell myself that too. I got to be strong, because it's hard that, in the physical, you don't see nothing. You don't see, whoever stole from you, took from you. You don't see, your stuff. Where, okay, well, where's my home? Well, where's my money? But where's the businesses, or where's the insurance they stole, or where's the, where's all this money that they took from me? And you start to, like, because I get like that sometimes. Like, where is it? I don't see anything. You see, but we also have to think that everything has to unfold in the universe's time, not ours. So with that being said, I I I work through my patients every day, because it's been a long time coming that people have done this too. Not, like I said, not just me, all the remnant, all the 144. They have been stealing our abundance. They have been taking all our abundance. Our inheritance, spiritual, monetary, other, or whatever. In any form that you have, because we all have inheritances. All of us that are chosen. Let me say this again. All of us that are chosen, that are supposed to be the curse breakers, all of us, generations, descendants, whatever, we all have an inheritance, all of us. But we have to choose to live, to walk our temple path. We all have to choose that. And once we choose that, then it is given to us. But it has been centuries, lifetimes, timelines that we have been getting stolen from, robbed from, frauded from, because we have been asleep. And and I'm not talking about asleep, like physically asleep, I mean spiritually asleep. And because we were spiritually asleep, that's when they chose to rob from us, steal from us, fraud us. Come here, Nugget. So let this be known, all of us have an inheritance. If we choose to walk our temple path, if we're chosen remnant, elect, children of God, whatever you want to call it, and we wake up to who we truly are, we all have an inheritance. This is the thing. This realm, a lot of the people in power have been feeding off of our energy and taking our money, our homes, whatever it is that they've taken from each one of us, they've taken it. And they've been doing it for a very long time. Our ancestors are here now at this very moment to reclaim what is ours, because it is ours. And they're helping us reclaim what is ours, our land, our money, our energy, our essence. It is ours, and we're taking it back. That's why all the systems are falling. That's why everything that's going on around us is going on around us. Everything has to has to dissolve and break down before it builds anew. And just let it be known it's happening. We might not be able to see it right now. Trust and believe. And I'm not gonna lie, I struggle with the whole because I don't see it with these eyes, but I know it with this eye. It's really our third eye is really inside our brain. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Um, it's happening. We just have to have that faith. Not even it's beyond faith. It's knowing. We have to have that knowing that this is happening because it is. And if the collective get together and in their mind have that knowing all together, it will collapse. We all have to be in unison, all of us at the same time, put it in our hearts and our mind that this is happening because if we all do this, it's going to happen no matter what. Because the collective have the spiritual powers, the spiritual essence that we have that this is going to happen. And it is. Y'all got to trust and believe and know that this is going to happen because it's already happening. It's inevitable. This is God's prophecy, the Most High God's prophecy, and this is what's happening. No matter what you label yourself as, no matter what you are, know that you are the light of God, the light of the Most High God. I don't even like to say God because God is also, it's a word, a pagan word. The light of the Most High, okay? The infinite white light. We are all a piece of that infinite white light. We must remember. So being in this realm, we're going to suffer because we hold that light. Because this realm is, this realm is really a lot of testing and trying, and a lot of temptation, of the mind, the body, the soul, spirit, the emotions. Everything it's testing. We are constantly every decision we make is a constant test. And people could say no, but it is. From the time you wake up, if you choose to be nice to people, or if you wake up and you're a crappy mood and you project it on others, that is a choice you're making because that's free will. But that's why we are tested over and over again. Right now we're still in the fire, yet right now is coming in with the fact of our knowing. We know what's happening. We know what's happening. We haven't seen it with this eye, but it's here. It's here. We have to believe and know that it's happening. We have to be in unison with this. To all my collective people, to all the remnant, to all the chosen, the elect, the 144, we have the power to bring this into reality. We must believe, we must know this is real because it is. We have the power to bring our reality, our mind, our thoughts into reality. As a collective and in unison, if we all know in our hearts what is real, it will happen and it's happening. We just have to have patience. And it is what it is. We need to find peace in between the calm and the stillness. Like right now, I'm trying to find peace and calm in the stillness. And it's so weird because there's still people that are hiding things from me. There's still people still trying to do things to me. Like y'all need to grow up already. Please grow up because the Most High God is real. He's real. And y'all, not just Big Brother in the sky, satellites watching, all of everybody's devices are bugged. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody. The government listens to everything we say, and if you think that, and they look at they record everything that we do. So with that being said, if you're committing a crime and doing all this stupid stuff, you think if it's not going to be shown, and even government officials, let me tell you, a lot of the government officials are crooked as well. A lot of them, not everybody, but there are people who are of the light that work also in government places that are also going to oversee that crap too. And they're going to get judged for it. It doesn't matter if you're a government official. It doesn't matter if you're an occult leader, a religious leader, a spiritual person. It doesn't matter. If you're doing wrong, you're going to get dealt with. And you might not see it, but you probably feel it with your losses and your marriage is being disrupted, and the loss of money, and your deaths and your sickness. That is God's wrath. That is God's vengeance. That is the universe's vengeance. It's as above, so below. It's whatever you put out comes back to you. And that's just the way it is, whether y'all believe it or not. That's the universal laws. Y'all could look into universal laws. It is what it is. So I'm just out here because I just wanted to if anybody else is going through that, like another thing, a lot of the celebrities, a lot of them have been duped into, yeah, they're celebrities and stuff, but they also have been, a lot of them have been, tricked into their essence, and for money. They've sold their souls for power and for fame and fortune, not knowing that they were selling their essence. And you know what I mean? And a lot of them that didn't know, right now is a time where they can reclaim who they are in the Most High. They can reclaim their light, and I believe, I'm not sure, I believe they can, um, reclaim their light and fight for what they now know, now that they are awakened spiritually. Um, it's true, you can, and it's never too late right now. If you still got, I'm not gonna lie, you're still gonna have to, if you've done something malice or foul, you're still gonna have to get back whatever you put out, right? So if you threw out whatever you threw out to other people, it's gonna come back to you. So I mean, you know what I mean? But once you pay for your karma, whatever, you can start new. It's really up to the creator whenever he chooses to, whatever he chooses to do, whatever he does. You know what I mean? He, she, you know what I mean? Male and female, the Most High Creator of all infinite light is male and female. Yes, he, she is. So, um, and I'm not down in any religious, because I used to be a Christian. I used to be, because that to me is a gateway to spirituality if you really choose to look at it like that, because that's what happened with me. The only thing is, to me, I like I said, I don't knock any religion. Just to me, in my opinion, a lot of it is boxed in doctrine, and they don't want you to go outside of it. And I don't agree with it, but to each his own. Because if to you, you find the infinite white light in your religious texts, because I honestly do. There's truth in all religious doctrines. There really is. It's just not all true. Like, and everything's been tweaked, everything's been modified, everything's been messed with. But you see, once you seek the Most High and you look through your your texts and your doctrines, you'll see God will show you what's real and what's not real. Because I read the Bible still every day. I read the Quran every day. You know, but of course, like I said, a lot of things are added, a lot of things are taken away, a lot of things are tweaked. Um, those there is truth in every religious and spiritual doctrine. You have to use your intuition and discernment when you look through it, right? That's just how I see it. So, on top of that, I just want people to know that there's no need for hate and jealousy. Of course, you can't stop it in this room, but a lot of us were chosen by the Most High, but we were tested. You know what I mean? A lot of us were tested. Our hearts were tested. Our spirits were tested. Our emotions, our mind were tested. And let me tell you something. A lot of us were doing the dark stuff before we came back to the light, right? A lot of us had our issues and our situations where we weren't doing the best. Like, I used to be a fundraiser. I'm not a fundraiser anymore because I saw that wasn't good. And prison, yeah, that'll do it for sure. Anyway, but you learn from your mistakes, and I'm hoping to maybe get some people to help me out so I can let people know about my life so that they can help others, because I want to help others with the situation that I've been through, knowing that nothing is lost, especially when it comes to the Most High or your higher power. Everything is possible. You know, you know, suffering isn't forever. Trials and tribulations aren't forever. We just have to know that we got to stand firm in the Most High God, your higher power. It's hard. It is hard. It's been really hard for me. I have such eternal peace. Like, no matter what's going on around me, I have a lot of peace in my heart because I know where I stand in the Most High. I know where I stand in His light. I know who I am. I know who I am, and it's hard. I want to cry because there's a lot of people that are still suffering and still don't know where they stand in God, or their higher power, and that's why I'm here, because I was alone. I didn't have anybody but the Creator and my ancestors. And before I woke up to who I was, it was really hard because I didn't have anybody. The people that I thought were for me were never there for me. They just oppressed me. They hurt me in all these different ways. And the whole time I just had to seek was God, right? But at that time I didn't know. I wasn't aware. And it was really hard for me. And I have peace now. I have peace in my heart now. I mean, I used to always be like I needed to be with somebody to be happy. And that's bullshit. And don't let anybody tell you that you need to be with somebody because that's not true. You need to find yourself first before you can be with anybody. Before you can find somebody, first find yourself, because all those lonely nights and those times when you feel like you don't have anybody and that you want to be with somebody, it's because you're missing something in yourself. Okay. and and that's basically what it is. And you can't jump into another relationship because you're lonely, because that's just, you're just covering up your, your wounds with the band-aid. And then later on you end up with a toxic relationship and forget it, it's the same shit all over again, right? Because he ends up cheating on you, cheat on him, it's just some kind of dysfunctional crap in there. So when you stay by yourself and you look into yourself and you see what why are you attracting all these people, why are you attracting these kind of people that are, either abusive or jealous or possessive or like emotionally unavailable. You start to say, why do I keep attracting these damn people? Well, it's because there's something in yourself that you don't, that you're lacking, right? Or that you messed up on. And when you start looking in yourself and you start sitting back and you realize what it was that was going on, you start to see and you start to heal from those things. And then you start to realize that you don't want those things anymore. And people can call you conceited or snobby, or you think you're too good and this and that. No, it's because you know what you are and you aren't going to put up with anymore. You see what you're not going to tolerate anymore. And you know what I mean? That's basically what it is. And you know, God will know when your creator, your higher self, the most high, will he'll let you know when you're ready for somebody and who it is. And I know I've been alone about 2 years, celibate, and I know it's for a reason. And I'm grateful that I found out who I was first before I went to go jump into another relationship, because I know God has somebody for me. I know He does. He's already told me. And I don't feel that I should sit on here, even if I was in a relationship. I wouldn't sit here and tell anybody this, because the simple fact that people will do anything, jealous, envious people will do anything to shatter other people's, dreams and stuff. And it's really sad because a lot of them are family members, a lot of them. And now that the prophecy is full blown, it's underway, nothing's going to stop what the universe, what the creator has, and it's already in motion, and it's going to be what it's going to be, and no one's going to stop it. And if we are supposed to be in a divine union, we're going to have a divine union. No witch or warlock or whoever can stop it, no matter what. No, nothing is more powerful than the creator, the great, the great spirit. No, nothing and nobody is more powerful than that. No one's going to stop it. So all those jealous and envious people, I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? And I forgive them. Um, but what can you do? You got to keep it moving. If you're serving the Most High God, serve the Most High God. Like here, where I live in San Antonio, people, I've always asked God, like, God, I want to heal people with my hands. Um, I can't go out here and go and start telling people, let me put my hands on you and heal you, because they think I'm out of my freaking mind, right? So I ask God, please, God, send me to the places where you need me. Send me to the places where I'm needed to help heal people, because I know I can heal people. I've healed myself, and I know I can heal others. It's just here where I'm at. It's like they say, a prophet cannot stay in his own land, right? Because the people in his own land, they won't accept them. And it's the truth. So if you are part of the remnant of the 144, you probably won't stay in your city or your state, wherever you're at, because you're called to go other places because in your city they're not going to accept you because of jealousy, envy. It's just the same. It's those what do you call them? The deadly sins, whatever you want to call them: lust, wrath, greed. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And I'm just want to let y'all know that if y'all feel the way I feel, y'all ain't alone. Y'all can reach out to me whenever y'all want. I'm gonna try to start doing 60-second healing sessions on TikTok. And yeah, I just it's hard, but it's if you know you have that higher power, the creator of all, then you know you're okay. And that's me. What saves me at the end of the day is, all right, God, this has been a hard day, but I know that you're here, and I'm gonna just rely on you and my ancestors, and just know that tomorrow's another day. And I take it day by day because it's hard. Like right now, I'm still looking for a job. You know what I mean? I'm still, I'm still trying to educate myself. Like right now, I'm doing financial classes. I'm going to financial classes. I'm taking that up. I'm trying to stay busy. At the same time, I try to go give out food. I try to go give food out to whoever a lot of the homeless, because I was homeless. I was really, really homeless. Like I didn't even have anywhere to have my clothes. I had nowhere to take a shower. That's how homeless I was. And right now I have somewhere to stay, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm going to keep going. Um, and I just ask the creator of all, great spirit, my ancestors, to just keep me mindful, aware, and awakened, because the devil never sleeps, right? And the devil is energies and entities and people and places and things that are around you in the 3D realm. That's exactly what that is. So we have to be strong in our higher power to guide us, and to know what to and what not to steer away from and steer to. So I'm going to. I just want to tell people, with all this jealousy and all that envy, all that comes back. You can't. It's not even so much God's wrath. It's more of whatever you put back comes back to you. It's like the boomerang. Whatever you throw out comes back to you. It's actually you're doing that to yourself. And don't forget, we're all connected. So whatever you're doing to me, you're doing to you. You know what I mean? And I just want everybody to know that the Most High God's real, because I used to be I used to be an addict. I used to be a drunk. I used to, just I used to be out there. I used to fundraise. I used to, you know what I mean? I had no care in the world. I was living that life that the Most High didn't want. And then he said, it's time for you to sit your ass down and do my will. And it took me a little while to figure out what it was, but I did it right. I woke up, and I started to realize who I really was in the Most High. You know what I mean? I didn't know I was one of the remnant. I didn't know I was remnant, chosen, elect, children of the sun, whatever you want to refer to it. I didn't know that I was. I didn't know that that's what I was. Nobody told me. Nobody told. My mom didn't tell me. They still haven't told me, but I know who I am because God told me. So it doesn't really matter what anybody outside of me tells me. I know who I am in the Most High. And no one and nobody and nothing can say or tell me any different. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a celebrity. I don't care if you're a government official. I don't care if you're my mom or my dad. I don't care if you're someone in power. I don't care who you are. Because no human being is going to change my mind from knowing who I am in the Most High God. I know who I am. And no one's going to change my mind. No one's going to stop me from speaking about God's goodness and how He saved me from every single thing that He saved me. And if there's anybody that feels lost, because I've felt lost before. There's times when I still feel like I'm tired, God, I'm tired. But God's like, well, you got to keep going, and I keep going because that's what God wants, right? So just to let y'all know, y'all jealous, y'all envious people that are out there trying to right now, probably as I'm speaking, y'all are doing y'all's mess behind. I really don't care, because no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I have a shield of protection that no person and there's no human being on this realm can touch me. And I don't care who you are. I don't care. I know who I am. I know who I stand for. I know what side I'm on. And really, I wanted to come out here and just say that the people that are out here that are feeling a certain way and are feeling like giving up, don't, because I mean, if you're a Soul Tribe family, reach out to me. DM me. You know what I mean? I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. I'm also on Threads. If y'all need to reach out to me, leave me a message. I know I have a lot of messages, but I'll try to go through them. Or if y'all want, y'all could call me through Messenger if it's really urgent. Y'all need to talk to somebody. I'm here. So I've probably been on here for a minute, and I just wanted to tell everybody that choose love over chaos and fear, because chaos and fear, they the dark energies feed off of that. They feed off of it. You feel the enemy when you're fearful and you're disgruntled and you're in chaos. They feed off of that, and don't let them win, because don't let anybody siphon your energy. Don't let anybody siphon your energy. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and speak upon this, because I feel like this was something that I had to get off my shoulders, and I will come back and speak, and I'm gonna do those 60-second energy outlet thingies soon. So I just want everybody to just, and everybody who's, if you've been listening to me at the sound of my voice, may my voice give you a vibration of healing in every way, shape, or form. May the sound of my voice give you peace. May the sound of my voice just heal you in anything that you need healing in. And I just want y'all to know that I love y'all. To stay safe and to do your affirmations and to do something nice for everybody. I love you.